So when you think of Venice, you definitely think of gondola rides. And even though we've been here a dozen times, we haven't actually taken one yet. So we're going to do that today. But we're also going to take you to the world's oldest cafe, one of the most iconic churches in all of Europe, and trying out local food that only Venetians really eat.
No trip to Venice would be complete without getting lost on the canals. Google and Apple Maps will be totally useless because everything is so packed in here, the little streets, the little canals, that I don't think maps can even possibly recognize. But the benefit is because Venice is so small, you can't really go far because you're just surrounded on a bunch of little islands. And also you'll see little yellow signs, if you look up, on buildings that will direct you to the very popular touristy areas.
It takes a good 25 minutes to go from the train station to St. Mark's Square, and that's if you don't get lost.
So you would think October, not that many people? You'd be wrong. I think Venice has to be the only place in the world that literally gets tourists year-round. It is insane. We came here just casually on a Friday morning. There won't be too many people. It's October. The hot European summer's over. Nope, it's still going strong in Italy.
This is the oldest cafe in the world, still open since 1720. Some of its past customers were Casanova, Lord Byron, and Charles Dickens. Even though this cafe isn't cheap, the atmosphere alone is worth it.
We got a frozen coffee drink, club sandwich, some biscuits, and tea. Comment down below how much you think this cost. Is that worth $20?
Yes. Probably not. But the atmosphere is nice, so there's definitely that.
The tea was good, but nothing special. The live music was nice to listen to during. The cookies, though, they were extra dry. So I'm very curious to try this $20 club sandwich. So it's a sandwich, I guess, it's one of their go-tos, the Florian club sandwich. So there's 4 of these, so it's not just, don't get scared, this isn't €20 alone. It's not a bad sandwich. It's a typical club sandwich. It's delicious, but it's not €20 delicious. But it's good. I mean, you're paying for the atmosphere. I think that was the most expensive brunch we've ever had.
And when you think brunch, you're probably thinking, okay, I'm not going to eat breakfast, I'm not going to eat lunch, I'm going to combine them into one meal. This was more like a brunch snack. What is it like eating at the world's oldest cafe? It's expensive, as you can imagine, especially being in the center of Venice, where the vast majority of tourists are.
Yeah, to be fair, St. Marco Square, anything in this square or anything around it will be very, very overpriced and semi-tourist trap. But the benefit of going Cafe Florian is the fact that you get to say, hey, I've eaten at the oldest cafe in the world.
Yeah.
So at least there's that. So it's not just like a whatever bar in the square.
And the food didn't suck. Like, it was good. The drinks were good. They were just a lot more expensive than you'd pay anywhere else. And in Italy, to be fair, a lot of places are good. Venice has a lot of tourist traps, so it's probably going to be the case that if you're not willing to spend a little bit more money, you are looking at like a plate of spaghetti for €9. You're going to think, wow, isn't that a great deal? Not in Venice. You will get scammed. That's probably going to be garbage spaghetti.
I think this is the longest line I've ever been in for anything. So we've never been inside the church, ever, even though we've been here a bunch of times.
And the reason why is pretty obvious. I mean, when you look at the line, it's huge. I honestly don't know if we're going to be here for 30 minutes or 3 hours. So we're going to have to stick it out so you can see what it's like on the inside.
Wait, here's a historical fact for you. Between those 2 red columns, if you look, those are the only red columns. That's where the Doge, no, not that one, used to announce death sentences.
2 hours later.
What do you think about this church?
It's huge. It has this really old vibe. It's kind of similar to the ones that we saw in Romania. I don't want to say the same, but it feels similar. There's a lot of like gold all over the ceilings, beautiful candles.
It's very grand.
It is. Grand. Yeah, it's like on a massive scale. I guess the goal is to make you feel kind of small. And we've even seen people over there actually, what looks like a normal church session thing kind of going on.
Not this craziness. They do have service here, and you can come to service here, and that's when you can't visit. So check the times before coming. And the tricky thing I saw did you see the tickets? You have to buy separate tickets for things.
I didn't see that, no.
So yeah, so to get in, it's €3, and to see the altar, it's €5. And I think to go to the balcony, it's like some other additional fee.
So it kind of racks up. On top of the 30 minutes that you're standing in line, I can see it kind of adding up over time.
I feel like we have a love-hate relationship with Venice and coming here. I love Venice. It's very unique. The architecture, the canals, the atmosphere, very different. I hate when I'm here because it's always so crowded. It is, especially today. And right now it's 70 degrees and you would think it's not that hot, but it honestly feels like 100 because of the humidity, because of the canals. So do dress appropriately. And also it always feels like a workout coming here. We've only been here 2.5 hours and we've already done almost 10,000 steps. So there are a few ways to get around Venice. Walking was what we're doing. Water taxis, gondolas, and I call them like the water buses.
You've probably seen this famous spot. Tradition holds that if a couple kisses while passing underneath the bridge in a gondola, they'll enjoy eternal love, which is quite ironic considering the history of this place.
Now it's time to find our gondola, but you can't visit Venice without visiting the famous Rialto Bridge, the oldest bridge in Venice.
Okay, so this is probably the most famous bridge on all of Venice, is the Rialto Bridge. You've probably seen it in a lot of pictures online, and it is completely packed with both stores and people. They're everywhere. These are not the kind of stores that actually the locals shop at. As you can see, they're all pretty much tourist traps. Right over there is the Hard Rock Cafe. So that gives you an idea of what kind of stuff you'll see. But it's also probably the place you're most likely to get pickpocketed, so be very, very careful.
Come on, Ron, you got it. You can jump. So official first time on the gondola. They're smaller than I thought and much more difficult to get on.
They're a lot more narrow too, so one wrong step and you're in the water. But thankfully the guy was really nice enough to help us on, because obviously we're amateurs when it comes to this kind of stuff. He probably does it 100 times a day.
It's very wobbly, so you feel it's very unnatural to be on this because they tilt. They're not like the way he balances the gondola. So the way they're made, they're actually, the gondolier balances the gondola. So it's very interesting because when you're sitting, every slight movement, you definitely feel it in the water.
And I've in the past gotten seasick on boats before, but I don't seem to have a problem on this. So
we'll see.
If you're sensitive to stuff like that, I think you'll be fine.
It's amazing how you take one canal and it's quiet. So this is definitely, I think, really nice to see a different side of Venice, especially from the Rialto Bridge, from the St. Mark's Square, how busy and crazy it is, to these quiet canals, and really relax and really unwind. You only hear the gondolier. The things you see when on a gondola. So we survived the gondola ride. It's not what I expected. What did you think?
I thought it was very cool. It does bounce a lot, which of course you're going to expect when you're in a boat like that. But it was really, really relaxing the whole time, especially as chaotic as Venice can be. It's really, really nice to be able to have that as a little tiny break in the middle of the day.
Yeah, we were able to see Casanova's house, Vivaldi's house, the something else, the prison. We saw like everything. We did the €100 tour, And so he took us along more of the canals, and we took the major canal and the smaller ones, which is really, really nice because you get to see the difference. We took a gondola from near the Rialto Bridge. I'll put it right here, where we took our gondola, because depending on where you hop on, that depends on the route and the stuff you will see. But overall, I think I liked it. I think I see why it's the quintessential thing to do in Venice. There is nowhere else in the world you can do this, unless maybe Vegas.
Or at least you're gonna find somewhere in China they've got a knockoff version of this.
I think they do have a fake Venice. But I think overall, I would recommend the gondola ride at least once in your life. It's not cheap, I understand. But I think, you can have 5 people on there. So 4 friends, it's not that bad. And it's really nice.
Now, let's go eat some Venetian cicchetti, which are local finger foods served as the main elements of every authentic happy hour or social gathering. They're served at Baccari, the local bars in the lagoon, alongside a glass of red or white wine called an ombra.
So there's nothing better to do than to get some cicchetti, which is the best thing to eat in Venice, some local wine. This happens to be the oldest bar in Venice. Well, hopefully you enjoyed our vlog today. We accomplished 2 major things. We checked that off our bucket list. We finally took the gondola ride and we went inside the St. Mark's Basilica. Even though Venice is known for their risotto, their seafood, their polenta, cicchetti is probably one of our favorite go-tos, which is essentially like the Venetian style tapas. We have to get that every time we come here. The Florian Cafe, I think, is a must when you come visit, especially for your first time. It's a bit overpriced, the food is okay, but the atmosphere within itself is definitely a 10 out of 10. So hopefully stay tuned for our future adventures and subscribe. Ciao!